Good afternoon. I thought I would start this message at 1:28 on the afternoon of Wednesday, 12th of October 2022, North American Eastern Time. This isn't one of my normal videos. This has to do with a particular video put out by American railroad advocate Alan Fisher about, his claim about how supposedly railroads based in the contiguous United States will form two separate duopolies. Well, basically, Burlington North Santa Fe, BNSF, and was it Union Pacific, UP, serving those parts of the contiguous United States west of the Mississippi River, or at least most parts of it anyway, other than Alaska. Well, Alaska not part of the contiguous United States, but yeah, contiguous United States west of the Mississippi, and if it's east of the Mississippi, mostly served by Norfolk Southern and CSX. So yeah, freight railroads. There are basically two duopolies, depending on the region of the contiguous United States. Starting around again, it goes on and on about claims about different railroads, how much pollution they supposedly create, and on and on and on. I mean, this is not one of my usual videos about hockey and all, but there's no doubt that diesel locomotives are very polluting, and yes, the cargo they haul, lots of it, more than probably emit less pollution than a heavy goods vehicle does. Or, a heavy goods vehicle that hauls one at most 53-foot container, maybe two, in very remote areas on the back. Again, starting at a bit after the 10-minute mark of that video of his, he claims that he claimed that for too long, American freight railroads had shafted their staff with hours. If such staff had not worked at a railroad for 10 or more years before being hired, or at least locomotive engineers. And when I look at unpredictable hours, I can kind of understand being notified no less than 4 hours, or being classified notified as late as 4 hours before that a shift's going to be, that I have to be, that an employee has to be at work. Just 4 hours notice. That sucks big time. When in terms of my own search for more paid work, I certainly like my hours to be relatively predictable, to at least have that level of control. I know that I won't have complete control, at least for companies for which I work, but to only be notified as little as 4 hours in advance, that's insane. Why would I want to work at a railroad if a company that gives me that little notice? That's its own problem in the end. It shouldn't do this to its employees. It may be that in part because of unpredictable hours, that these four freight railroads are having loads of trouble attracting employees, attracting new workers. Well, for me, it's that basically companies got to offer me predictable hours. I have nothing against necessarily working more early hours, but I want to know what my shift is going to be, more than just a couple of hours in advance. I mean, people are want to be off the clock, and they're off their shift. They shouldn't be compelled to have to get ready to go into work, at least if they got to go in person. I'm open to working away from home, and I want to give any company a fair shake. I just want to make sure that to to be able to have predictable hours. I mean, not be notified 4 hours in advance I gotta go to some away from home location. Remember, these companies, railroad companies, have got to understand that there have been court cases in Canada and England that have involved deaths by drivers who fell asleep. With English law classifying such driving as causing death by dangerous driving, and Canada, criminal offense being dangerous operation of a motor vehicle causing death. Yes, dangerous driving, standalone charge of dangerous driving, if it doesn't involve a death or serious injury to anyone but a driver who causes such a collision, is one thing. So if the driver's uninjured, no one else is injured, there's there may be property damage, whatever, it's one thing. But if someone is killed or severely hurt, and there's dangerous driving, and that driver has allegedly caused someone else to die or be severely hurt, then it's then there's a strong evidence. But that's only if the driver who caused that collision knew that he or she was deprived of adequate sleep. That's really what the test is. And in the criminal court, that's proof beyond a reasonable doubt. I may post one of those cases, where it was a trucker who'd known that he'd been sleep deprived, but had gotten behind the wheel. That is, again, and I don't know if these American railroad companies get it, that there have been court cases, in England and Canada, that have featured drivers of rubber-tired motor vehicles have fallen asleep and killed or severely injured someone. But of course, that's the problem. I don't want to be in that position, so no thanks. So I hope that Canadian National and Canadian Pacific will also understand this, that dangerous operation of a motor vehicle includes, under the Criminal Code of Canada, evidence that a driver who ends up being convicted of such a charge knew that he or she was sleep deprived and got behind the wheel. Usually, there's another element, that the same driver caused someone, either killed someone else or caused grievous bodily harm to someone else. Anyway, I'm going to go, and all I'm looking for is, when it comes to working conditions, sufficient notice of a change in shift. And I'm a fair-minded person, but I don't just want to be given, oh, by the way, David, you're gonna have to go in this Wednesday at noon. You were scheduled to have a day off. Too bad. Anyway, I'm gonna go see how the rest of my Wednesday afternoon goes.